possibly Tota as well. Tota watching yellow room. Nobody really moving up because NSF has Ghost in hand and
Yeah, they're really
Jinrai
passive
cannot
at
make a
the
move.
moment. We have some exchange of fire. Okay,
Armo
Agil
moving
is
up
gonna
on
get
street.
surprised. No,
Ooh,
yes, no.
Trade
mutual.
kill.
Well, not well. Bear takes out Marimo and Agil in turn takes out Bear.
Yeah, I thought first that it was Agil in that corner, but it was Maruma.
Agil
But
very
either
injured
way,
now.
it
He's
doesn't
shooting
matter.
up street, trying to take some pot shots at the NSF team. Tota in yellow room, also injured.
Jinrai needs to push. Oh, actually no, it's equal now. 4 against 4.
Nevermore or someone smoked street to stop those shots from Agil.
Do we have a
Tota.
4-man tie here? That would be outrageous.
It would be outrageous. 3 seconds. And...
Yep.
Back.
Have we
Working
seen this
right
before?
now.
4 guys left in per
No.
team and it's a tie. I cannot believe this.
Well, NSF had a very defensible position back in their own spawn, and with the Ghost and so many supports, it was so hard for Jinrai to move up.
Yeah, I understand for that, for the Jinrai. But NSF, they didn't even try.
The only person taken out on NSF was Bear, who was playing Recon at the time. So that's understandable in his point.
I'm waiting to get to ask from
Oh, but
NSF why
one
they did
lieutenant
so
on
passive.
Jinrai now. Mega takes
Yeah.
lieutenant.
That is what I wonder when the on the last round. That the point advantage.
Oh,
is-
Bear takes
oh my goodness.
Producer and Mega out, even though Mega had the AA-13. I think he may have clipped his own teammate on the shoulder with that. Yeah, I think he may have clipped Producer, injuring him. And then missing Bear almost entirely. Bear taking out a Geo.
Yeah, and 3 kills for Bear already.
Armo taking out CJ
Jinrai
and
making a
Nevermore.
comeback here. Or maybe not. It's 2 against 1.
He's in enemy spawn now, car park.
And Maruma is really hard.
He's
Only
gonna go for the
18
cap.
HP.
Glob's got the cap
Oh,
here.
Glob going for cap. I think he
Oh
can
my
make this
goodness,
easy.
it's the
Yep.
first one. First gap
And
of the match.
2 lieutenants each side actually now. The points are almost similar. Again, weird.
Yeah, NSF made a comeback here. They Jinrai had a point advantage in the points, but with this gap and good play, NSF is making a comeback here. It's pretty much the like same
Glob
scores.
taking shotgun as a recon. Agil taking AA-13. And Mega going immediately down to that shotgun from Bear,
Sneak
losing his
attack.
AA-13. Bear could get that AA-13. I bet you
Oh,
he wants that
Dopha.
so badly.
Good grenade.
Oh, he got
Good
greedy.
play by Agil.
Bear got greedy, jumping around the corner to try and take a shot at the Producer, I think, but Agil was watching his shoulder and he got taken out.
Jinrai seems to be a bit sloppy here.
Producer picking up the
I think-
AA-13 and blind firing to smoke.
Now Jinrai lost their advantage. It's 3 against 3.
Agil taking out Zuni though.
Blind
3
fire.
against 2 now. In my
Blind
opinion,
fire.
Jinrai should take the ghost now and play it safe.
CJ and Nevermore staying in spawn. Yeah, camping close.
It's really weird. NSF is using the ghost quite much for their advantage, but Jinrai doesn't do that at all.
Jill using A13 into enemy spawn. Producer also has an A13, but I don't think he has that much ammo left. Maybe 3-4 shots top. Seeing as he picked it off the ground. But Agil takes out Nevermore, leaving CJ
Yeah.
all on his lonesome. But
Oh
CJ
my
takes out
goodness.
Agil. And
It's also a
Oh,
team
my
kill. It's
God.
1 versus 1. What a
That was
God.
something that
taking out CJ.
a
was
producer
close.
Sun saves today.
that was too close there for the Jinrai team.
That would have been so annoying for the Jinrai to lose that one.
Being
I
really
think Producer
careless
only-
with these AA-13s.
I think Producer only had maybe 4 shots, 5 shots left in that gun.
Yeah.
He had to make every single shot count.
Yeah, this sloppy play by the Jinrai team seems to be working out somehow. They have the firepower, but they keep on messing up plays.
Bear picking up SRS,
Yeah, he's
looking at street.
discarding that recon class.
Yeah, it seems to be one sport for Assault Team now, NSF.
Yeah.
They've consistently moved up the teams every single time.
Producer Sam takes
wild.
Cubes, Maruma takes Nevermore.
Jeez.
This is going, oh my goodness.
All happening on the
Bear
street.
not-
Megatech Suni.
They're not being able to capitalize on the SRS at all.
Look at this boost by Jinrai, really good.
Oh, and they're going for the cap. Can Bear stop it? No, he can't. Oh, he can!
Yes, he can.
Nice shot there.
He just
That
dodged the
was
grenade in
almost out of
time as
range.
well.
Oh, and this is now going really bad
Oh,
for Jinrai.
taken down by Marimo though.
I think he can finish the cap off though.
I think CJ
Yeah, he
needs
can
to
do
turn around.
fantastic play by Jinrai.
Oh, CJ misses out there on the close cap, and he gets naded.
That was a really nice play by Bear though, but his team wasn't able to capitalize on it once he'd got the ghost cap kill.
Yeah,
They weren't
that
expecting
was
the
good
rush.
from
I
Bear.
think that was the thing.
TJ should have really capitalized that and pushed the ghost when Bear got that
Oh,
frag.
and
What, we
Jinrai
have
wins.
a win!
We have a win with one tie.
Yeah.
So that's it, Jinrai wins the match.
Yep. Then Ghost Brigade goes
I
forward.
could have just keep watching, that was so interesting.
Yeah, that last map was much
I
better
just
than
couldn't
usual.
get
my
watching, I
God,
can't believe
man.
it's over. Damn it.
Good game.
It was a good game, well played.
Oh man, you should have heard the voice comm. Me yelling so much in all the matches. And
Me
the
imagine.
ghost
Yeah,
cap, ghost cap, I just lost it so hard at the last ghost cap. Oh,
So,
good
teams,
game, man. Good game.
thoughts?
To be honest, I have a big thought to put out there. Xuni's behavior. There's nothing else to say. So much taunting. And once he got taunted, he tried to brush it off. There's nothing else I can say. That is really disrespectful. That was really bad of his end. Other than that, really good game. Good fight.
Yeah, there was quite some problems with that overextended pause.
Yeah, that was bad. But everything aside, that was so good.
Yeah, that last map was very interesting in terms of
Yeah.
to and fro for a while.
Lots
Yeah, I
of
think we did a good job of adapting to what they were trying to do.
The last cap, I can't
And then,
put
of course, the final round, where
yeah,
we
I
decided
cannot
to
put
just push straight.
emphasis on how I just completely lost all barriers. I yelled into the microphone.
You
So
you
loud.
essentially turned the tables on Bear and what he done to you in the first map where he
Yeah.
quick capped the ghost.
That quick cap. We saw the ghost and we just decided to push out immediately because I said when the map started we need to get at least one street push going. And that was the perfect timing for it. I don't think we can hear NSF though. NSF, are you there? Hello? Oh.
Oh.
We want to
Okay.
hear your thoughts too. Come on.
We need to get linked.
Yeah.
We're linked with Jinrai, we're not linked with NSF.
Oh,
I
you're
think.
not-
Well,
linked with NSF?
is it that being a sort loser then? I hope not.
Hang on. Now they're linked. There we go.
NSF,
Okay.
can you hear us?
Yeah, NSF is
Yeah.
now here. Okay, what Glob said? Glob said he's happy that CJ joined them like in the last second, so they had a fifth player. And except for that, you didn't miss much from NSF's end.
Yeah, that was one of the more
Yeah,
interesting overall games, especially seeing as it went to the third map.
yeah, it was really close. We got scared there a bit in the first map.
Yeah, the first
But-
map was quite a bad start, but I said I said the following, I think in the when we did the veto, that even though we might lose transit, we know threat plate, we played it before,
Yeah.
and we might just use that to our advantage, and it seemed to work out fairly well once we got our flow back.
Yeah, the only problem was NSF picked up the ghost like every round, which threw me off when I tried to flank. Like one time when I had just gotten the AA,
Yeah.
I ran through the basement and was like 10 meters away from you, and you picked up the ghost right there and saw me, so I couldn't push in. And then I
NSF,
got pinned by the cars, then I
Also-
couldn't get away.
A little fun moment to share. You casters didn't hear this, but during the pause time, we had Bear join our channel and wanted us to
Really?
finally like put down that we finally removed the pause, so the game goes on, because apparently
Yeah.
Suni didn't refuse to accept that the pause has to be lifted at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were
we-
discussing it among ourselves as well.
yeah,
It was a
we
good
did.
it was a good idea that producer came to our channel and asked if we should,
Come on,
because we're independent at that point, and like
Let-
in the interest of time, we decided to just agree with you and let the pause go.
Yeah, and we did say that
Let-
Bear
let
doesn't
Bear
like this
speak.
situation.
Bear wants to say something.
He's not saying anything.
He's not talking.
What? Ah, is it still not linked? Hang on.
Yeah, maybe
Can you
NSF?
move everything to the casters or
Yeah, I
something?
guess we can just do that.
Just move everything, everybody.
also
There we go.
There we
Okay.
go. Hello to everybody.
So
No.
we're muted for some reason? That's
No.
weird.
No,
Yeah,
the
just
channel
gonna
was
unmute
badly
everyone.
linked or something.
Oh.
Okay, now
so
say it
Bear,
again.
you wanted to say something?
I was saying I really appreciate Glove being level-headed because, you know, frankly, I'm not gonna like talk badly about my teammates, but I think Zuni was a really big detriment, and I don't know. I don't think I would ever play with him again, to be honest with you.
You
Hmm,
thought
that
just that,
is-
didn't we,
like-
Ray Bob?
Like it was really frustrating because like he was constantly pushing and putting us at a disadvantage by getting killed early when we asked him specifically not to push. It was making me rage quite a bit and put me on tilt. And that whole nonsense about him, he kept shit talking, and I kept asking him to not do that, and he just kept doing it regardless of that fact. It was just really frustrating.
Talking in a way
I
about
think it was
like,
just like highly unprofessional and like kind of just like childish and really irritating. And I
May
would
I-
definitely
may I
never
ask?
play with him again.
shit talking in regards of his own teammates or the other teammates.
The other team. He was
Oh.
shit talking the other team, and it was really frustrating. He also
Hmm.
wasn't keeping a very level-headed approach to stuff. Like we'd win one round, and he'd go like off on it about how he just won, and I'm like, listen, there's like another 7 rounds to play.
Yeah,
You need to chill out.
I also highly disliked him using admin chat to taunt. That's one of the most unprofessional
Yeah.
things you can do.
I didn't know
Come
he was
on.
he was using admin chat. That's pretty funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also,
Admin
Narumo
Yeah.
tried to call me down a lot because I nearly lost it so hard against Suni. I told him in the chat, if he keeps on taunting, I'm gonna just fucking burst.
Yeah, it was. This is literally. I mean, you guys know I like rage a lot, regardless. But this was literally
Yeah.
the first time I'd thrown my mouse in a while. Like probably,
Yeah,
Wow.
probably
I think
at
I
least
did
like
mention at
whoa,
one
2
point that we
years.
really wanted to hear what you were saying.
like
yeah,
I just.
you did.
I like Glove was very level headed, and I appreciate the fact that he was able to keep his cool together because I was really starting to lose it.
Yeah, what I wrote also in the third match in German was, I was thanking Nevermore for probably being the calmest person. I didn't hear it, so I just assumed
Yeah,
because
Nevermore was very good as well.
Yeah.
I enjoyed playing with him.
I wrote in
Um,
German. I had to put out that Nevermore is the calmest person in there, and I just thanked him for that because at least there was like one person keeping his cool. I wasn't sure about the rest, and he just like he did. I don't know if he caught on to me like why I said that, but I had to put it out there.
No, it was good. I mean, all around, they were definitely good matches. I liked them a lot. I was a little frustrated at third plate mostly because the pause was just like really throwing me off my
Yeah,
game.
same
Yeah.
here. Same.
And
We
on-
all probably
By
suffered
the way,
from that.
on behalf of Latin Foxy, I would like to thank the admins for letting us pause so many times and
Yeah.
put up with our bad
Why
organization.
was that in Foxy out so much?
Well,
He was
Foxy
cooking, so
cooking. I don't know. We kind of discussed this in the channel. You shouldn't be, if you know something is coming up that puts up a halt in your play. You shouldn't be playing and have
Yeah.
a fill
you
in
gotta pay
immediately.
attention.
When
I
you
agree.
said cooking, I thought you were using a euphemism for drugs.
No.
As in he was not baked.
that's absolutely
No.
what it was.
I thought that was a joke. Like cooking
Yeah,
No, it
during
was
the
legit.
match.
like,
What
maybe
the
his
hell?
Apparently-
pizza is here.
Apparently, it was legit cooking. But
Yeah,
on
he's
the
from
other hand,
Argentina, so I guess it's you cook with your family.
yeah. But on the other
Yeah.
hand, I kept. Adji was like, we should just play with 4 players on their
Yeah.
team, and I kept really extending the time by a lot. I tried really hard to just keep everyone patient, but then
Yeah.
I grew impatient too, and that was kind of counterproductive.
It's not really like, despite you and Agio being the admins on the server, it's not really it's not good that it would be your choice as the opposing team. So producer came up to our channel with the casters with me, Rate Bob and BK, and asked us if we should stop the pause, and I think that was a good choice.
Yeah.
There seemed to
Yeah.
have been a misunderstanding as well about the pauses, which I'd like to clear up. If you call for a pause, it won't go into effect until the round's over. If you call it at the very
Yeah.
beginning of the round, still, no, it's not until the next round where you'll get the
Yeah.
pause. It's
Yeah,
only
that's what I
freeze
kept
time.
saying.
Unless you still call it early enough for the freeze time to be in effect.
Yeah,
That
but you
is
gotta have
the only
super fast
exception.
reflexes to do that. Like,
Yeah,
you're more likely
Although
going to get it at the end
we-
of the next round.
and the
As-
reason for that is that if you pause in the middle of the round, then everyone can tab out and put up the stream and see the positions and everything.
Actually,
All right.
Yeah.
at 1 or 2 points, Snella actually had to leave the match, and we were like, "Can we call a pause?"
Yeah,
the
there was.
stream up
I
again?
was getting DC'd from Reigns. I think it happened
We
twice.
paused once. We
where I
paused
got
once.
yeah, I managed to fix. It happened again a second time, but like I already knew what to do, so I managed to get back on the server pretty quickly. I don't
Yeah.
know what happened there. The stream was still up, but I just DC'd from the server.
But to go back to the gameplay,
Yeah.
Jinrai, I noticed that you were almost every map. You kept trying to go all assault all the time.
This was really frustrating me. That like your support counterplay when it was there was fucking great. It went fine. You managed to see
Yeah.
through their smokes. You managed to get a lead, especially on thread play when you managed to make like 3 or 4 rounds before the pause. I think.
Yeah, we noticed a big change there. I mean,
Yeah.
I think all of us are
Produce,
pretty much
we went
main assault
support
players,
them,
and we're not
yeah.
really comfortable playing other classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're reluctant to switch, but at that point on thread plate, we realized that we needed supports, and it worked out. So
In Transit, we started saying we need at least one support because we originally had the plan 4 souls, 1 support. The support calls out everyone else because we expected a lot of like fat resistance. Let's put it that way. So the support would just call out everybody, and we would just try to nade them out of their smokes.
It
But that
didn't
didn't
quite
work
work
out.
though. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
that
they
didn't
threw
work
their
out.
smokes and didn't push them straight away. They used their smokes to bait your grenades. It seemed.
yeah,
So
and
we
then they
just
pushed into them.
so we
It's a good
just went
tactic.
to finish Transit, and then we wanted to see how that works out. And due to us not taking supports and things being a bit wonky, we decided to step it up by taking 1 to 2. And I
Yeah,
kind of
that
realized
really
me going-
worked. That did.
I realized me being support actually helped me out a lot because I pushed the choke point at a slower pace, so people were popping up earlier than expected, so I could just pick him off from a distance.
However, that was only when you did actually go on supports. There were rounds when you went all 5 assault, and despite
Yeah.
the heavy firepower, it just didn't seem to work out. And it was frustrating to see you getting caught off guard by all these supports, and you were all 5 assaults. So
Yeah.
it was frustrating to watch sometimes.
Well, I tried playing support a few times, but eventually it just didn't work out at all. And then I decided to go assault, and because then I was actually able to get some kills and rank up, which
Yeah.
isn't really needed for support, but
yeah.
would have been nice.
That's the
Yeah.
problem with our team composition, I think.
Yeah.
It's pretty difficult to switch to another class that you're not used to, especially in a competitive game, like where you need to be on your top game.
The only map where your all assault layout worked was the very last map, actually, Balustrade, because
Yeah.
there's no single area really in that except for subway that smoke can actually close off. But I think.
But
I
the thread
noticed that.
itself can be closed off, but it's need more than one support there.
I noticed that in transit, Jinrai was holding together, like moving as a group, but that didn't work out so well. And in Dreadblade, you were more like scattered, and NSF was holding it really stacked, like holding
Yeah.
the ghost and staying together. And they had like 3 supports and 2 recons doing really well with that setup. And it was really hard for Jinrai, but once you got that one support, you did good, and it started to go out well. And in Balustrade as well, you were more up, like spread out.
Yeah.
But that worked out better because of the map, I think.
Yeah, we talked a lot about positions especially on thread plate, because we played that map in our first match, so we know where to go. Kind of the same thing with Balustrade. We didn't talk about it much, but like we know where we need people, so
But
we
on
kind
the-
of
on
fill the empty spots.
On the thread plate, I was like fucking so surprised. Okay, we are doing the same thing, but it didn't work last time. Why?
Yeah, and the entire point why it didn't work in our first match was because the enemy team really pushed the basement on the southeast side fairly hard. And our tactic was exactly to push southeast so we can like kill the guy on the truck and stuff like that. And this time it just because they weren't heavy, and I actually said it in the reflections of our first game which we lost. Like if they push southeast as well, you are just fucked in the basement. But NSF just didn't do it at all.
Yeah, this time it worked.
Yeah.
And on TGR side, like, was your layout? I think you went like always a mixture of support, assault, recon. Like, was that intentional, or was that just everyone playing their own strength?
I was constantly switching from recon to assault.
Yeah,
I have to when I would switch to recon ZR, which I know a lot of people don't think is good, but personally, it's the only way I can 2v1 two assaults, and I think it paid off in the subway a few times. But
yeah,
it's just like I don't know, it's tough.
Yeah, and
I'm not that familiar with third plate as far as like 5v5 is concerned. I was telling them that I find it very difficult to cover most of the avenues on third plate at the same time. And I think warehouse, like while you can camp warehouse, it doesn't really pay off that well because like basically all the entrances are in opposite directions, so like it's really hard to watch all of the entrances.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Third plate for me is not a particularly good map, and I get frustrated with transit because it's essentially just a box with like 0 flanks. But
you did Barry, you did really well on threat play, nevertheless. Like in that one round, there were 20 seconds left, and NSF was losing that match, but then you come out and kill 3 people there, and it's a NSF win. So I think you did really well there.
Yeah, Bear made some nuts plays. Like on transit, I know you're not a big fan of that map, Bear, but there was that one cap where you got a double kill. Went straight off the cap.
With a shotgun, yeah.
That was the decisive round, I think, for your team winning that round. Like that was nuts. That was such a good play.
Yeah,
it was good.
That and Foxy did a similar thing with the shotgun, but like he has 300 ping, so
yeah,
it's not impressive.
Yeah, it was odd seeing players with that much ping, but it doesn't seem to have quite as big as an effect on Neotokyo as it would some other games, but it does still not work for hit registration, which is iffy at best.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part on transit, we were using him to basically just like cover events to tell us if anybody was coming. Like we tried to use that on third plate as well. Like when we went 3 support, 1 assault, and then him as recon on third plate before he left, we were using him to basically try to do like long flanks while we were either covering basement or warehouse.
He kept rushing basement on third plate, and I killed him every time.
Yeah, it was
I was
tough.
kind of wondering why does he keep going there?
It's also tough too because like he's not on voice comms, so it's like. Yeah, it's hard to like hear from him to know what's going on, you know? Because like the point of for me when I play Raycon, I try to push certain boundaries and see where people are and then relay that information because that's kind of what you do with the class. But when you have someone who's a mute playing it, it's like kind of frustrating at times because he would, from my perspective, it would look like he'd go somewhere and then immediately die, and I can like kind of guess who's there, but like not know if there's more than one or like where they are. So it's kind of tough, but overall, I think our team played pretty well. We just kind of lacked a lot of preparation because I was actually a sub player for this team.
Yeah.
So I've never I played with them a couple rounds ago or like last round, but I never sat with these guys like in an empty game and like talk strats with them. So I think we did pretty good overall.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we never really trained or anything, so overall we did work well in that regard.
I think that holding the ghost did work for you quite well. Like especially
it
on the
helps.
balustrade and threat plate and balustrade.
Yeah, I picked up the ghost a lot, and it's really hard to go up against the ghost because, I mean, you know that they know exactly where you are.
Yep.
So you can't really do flanking and stuff.
Part of that came from our conversation that we had earlier in the week where I was saying how, you know, I think the ghost is just one of the most underappreciated aspects in Neotokyo, mostly because people don't really have a lot of experience with it. So I figure, like, you know, particularly if these guys are a little bit unfamiliar with the maps that we're playing on, or if they're like newer players, it's better to pick it up with someone like Glub, because Glub, like I said, he's stone cold. Steve Austin, just like level voice, everything, just doesn't freak out at all, and it's really beneficial. And I think we really wanted to show off the fact that you can leverage that as an advantage, because I think a lot of people, like I said, just don't use it very much.
We're definitely seeing that in this tournament. Like, it's been used so much. It's good.
Yeah. I want to ask why Jinrai didn't do the same thing. Why didn't you dodge the ghost and, you know,
We
call out
usually had
people.
the situation of the ghost being on their side.
Yeah,
Just
they
look at
had
Sweat
bad
Plate.
spawns. For
Just
sure.
look at Sweat Plate. They always had the ghost. We barely had the chance to pick it up.
Yeah.
We had it once or twice, and I think we closed it around once or twice with it as well, but we never like had it early. Yes.
Yeah,
A
and
few
we haven't
times-
really incorporated it into our tactics either, like our
Yeah, exactly.
positionings, because
We
we
more
need.
tried to pick off early kills and then fall back or stuff like that. So the ghost wasn't the best there. Both
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
one player very much.
if someone picks up the ghost, then someone else will have to fill his spot and check that angle.
Yep.
So it's
Yeah.
it's not only that we lose a gun, we also lose an angle. So it's
Yeah.
hard.
Our priming tactic was actually just actually in all of the maps was to just hold off areas and ensure that we have map dominance and map control. But if you have the ghost, then it becomes slightly easier, but also a lot harder because you just have 4 players to actually do the shooting.
Yeah. So I don't really like picking up the ghost in the start of the round. But if you get a pick so that you're ahead, then it's more viable to pick up the ghost to chase down the last guys. And I think we did that a couple times.
Yeah, you did. I noticed.
Yeah, I think Jinrai was really smart about also shutting down potential flanks. I noticed that they kind of left Maru as like a trailer behind them wherever they were going. So they flex one side of the map and leave Maru behind to basically watch their ass. I know he shut me down a few times because of that.
Yeah, I think that was a very good tactic because then they're absolutely certain that there's no flanking coming from behind.
Yep.
Yeah, your vent plays were shut down pretty often that way on third plate there.
Yeah, third plate's tough for events.
Yeah, because that truck is just such a good position.
Yep.
Yeah, but only like truck can actually easily be flanked from the ladder from this. There.
Speaking of vents, on third plate, it was funny when I had the AA and Bear dropped down.
Popped out. Yeah, that was another.
Like,
I'm not gonna name
actually
names,
really
but
scared
that
me
was
because I
someone
didn't
on
expect
Ghost. That was someone on Ghost who told me you were by the stairwell. So I popped out facing the stairwell, and then I immediately got shot in the back by an AA-13.
Pretty sure then Ashio followed that up to make a triple kill.
Killed 2 more guys.
Yeah,
I
was
really hectic.
spectating Bear there, and I saw he was on the vent, and then I switched, and I saw Agio was down there with AA-13, and I was like, "What is